Hey y'all, it's Katie and welcome back to my channel. Today we're diving into episode 7 of our series on how to train for Deka if you don't have the equipment. Today is all about the air bike. Let's go. So today in our video, we are focusing specifically on how to build strength and cardio to supplement for the air bike in case you don't have one. But if you're looking for a whole video on strategy, I have a different one right here for you. For today though, we're focusing on those two things, strength and cardio. So diving right into strength here, our very first thing that is the most similar to an air bike is obviously a standard stationary bike. So here we can train this two different ways. We can stay in the saddle and then add some heavy gear and go to town working those glutes and those hamstrings as you pull against the resistance. Or you can come into a standing position here and do a standing climb, adding on that resistance again so you feel some heavy weight there as you're climbing up that mountain, hill, whatever you want. And both of these will get your lower body acclimated to the bike really well. However, the air bike obviously has that upper body piece involved as well. And some other ways to build strength for the air bike will be to find some heavy compounds. That's a pretty generic recommendation, but it will really help. Obviously, we have our upper pull, upper push, like our bent over rows on the barbell, like our chest press on dumbbells, barbell. Or you can also load up the tank. That is one of my favorite ways to train legs because it is so dynamic and it's going to be challenging in the similar way like the air bike, and it's one of the Deka zones, so big bonus there. But you can also just stick with heavy squats and deadlifts because those will both build the lower body really well too. And moving right along to cardio. If you've been keeping along with the series, then you'll know I love a good Metcon and I love finding intervals between different exercises. So here you can always find some intervals with some running, some of those stationary bike climbs, and then finding some tank movements, maybe adding in that elliptical a little bit, just to get that cardio going and mimic some of that fatigue that you'll feel on the bike. Again, it's not a 1-for-1 ratio, but we're gonna have to find those other cross-training methods in order to substitute if you don't really have an air bike. Here I also have an elliptical using the arms here. So here on the elliptical, we're gonna add a heavy resistance and a heavy incline to mimic the air bike, and we're gonna really focus on scissoring those arms, doing a push and a pull simultaneously every single punch, just like you would do in the air bike. So this one is obviously not an exact science, just like that stationary bike wasn't exact. Nothing will replicate the air bike like a real air bike will. So you're just gonna have to go with that in training and do your best to find those alternatives and find things that will mimic the same motions you'll find on the air bike. And another cardio recommendation comes from the man, the myth, the legend himself, Yancey Culp. This was posted on his Instagram a little while back. This is his recommendation for the air bike. This is doing toe taps on a bench and then using a mini band to punch and pull with the upper body so that you're mimicking that scissor motion you'll find on the bike, and you're using those legs and finding a little bit of endurance and strength in those legs like you would on the air bike. And this one especially, just demoing this for 30 seconds got my heart rate up. So obviously this one's great for cardio. It'll spike that heart rate and it'll help mimic a little bit of what you might feel on the actual air bike. And just a little bonus tip here, if you've never actually seen or rode the air bike before you go to your very first Deka event, make sure you don't go hard fast right out of the gate on the air bike because you will totally regret that later. Start slow and steady and build. So make sure that you're reserving your heart rate a little bit and maintaining that good heart rate level before you just hammer it, because your heart rate will spike. And this is the #1 error I see with newbies in Deka, is that they will totally crash on the air bike because their heart rate spikes and then they have zero energy left for the last 3 zones afterwards. So make sure you don't do that. Just keep a conservative air bike and you'll be great. So those are just a few tips to help you on your air bike. If you have more, go ahead and drop those in the comments below. I would love to hear what you got. And if you like Deka tips like these, check out my newsletter. The link is down in the description. And that is where I share a lot of fun hybrid training tips and techniques and things to try. So go ahead and check that out and jump on that email list if you want more tips. But other than that, that's all I got for you guys today. I hope you have a great next Deka race, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Stay healthy. Bye.